Daf Chaf Amud Aleph will begin Yotes Amud Beis, 6 lines from the bottom. Atashma. We were in the middle of the sugya of Ein Chachma, Vein Tvuna, Vein Eitzel, Neged Hashem, Kol Makom Sheish Chil Hashem, Ein Cholkim Kavod L'Rav. That even though it's a question of Kavod Abriyas, but we're not over an Isser, we're not of an Isser, and therefore, even if it's a busha for a person, if it's the embarrassment, nevertheless, we're not of an Isser, and we were machalik between an Isser deraisa and an Isser derabbanan. Continuing further, so the Torah says that a Nazir cannot be matama for his relatives. So it says he cannot be matama, and then it specifies la'aviv, or la'imoy, la'achiv, la'choisei. So why does it specify all of these relatives when we know he can't be matama to anybody? So the Gemara darshans all of the droshes for the aviv, imoy, achiv, and now it's la'choisei. What do we learn out from his sister? That he cannot be matama to his sister. So la'choisei matama loima hareisha yohelech lishcheres bischoi. It's telling you a chiddush that even if he's going to shech the korban pesach, v'lamulas b'noy to make the mitzvah milah, b'shama shemes lo meiz, and he heard that he had a relative that was nifter yachol yachsav yitama, amra lo yitama. He cannot be matama for his relative. Yachol kishem shein matama lahem kach ein matama l'meis mitzvah. You might think, well, even for a mes mitzvah, a mes that there's no one there to take care of the mes. Similarly, you might say he's not matama for the mes mitzvah. So it specifies lachoisa to his sister. For his sister, lachoisa who deina matama. For his sister, he's not matama. Aval matama ula mes mitzvah. But he is matama for a mes mitzvah. So that's what we learn out from Achoisa. It specifies Achoisa is not matama for his sister, but he is matama for a mes mitzvah. Why don't we say over here, like the principle that you establish, that if there is to do an Isser, we're not concerned about Kavod Abriyas when it comes to a mitzvah of Hashem. So here also, he's an Ozer, he should not be matama. From the Gemara Shani Hasam Dechsiv, yeah, but here we have Exeris Akosav. That's why in a Chanami, normally we would not say that he should be matama, but we have Exeris Akosav, Lachoisa. No, fine, but why don't we learn out from here and apply it to other cases as well? Our answer is Sheval Tase Shai. It's Sheval Tase. He's not doing the mitzvah of Milah. He's not doing the mitzvah of Korban Pesach. But to violate an Isser for Kavod Abriyas, we won't say that. Over here, to not perform the mitzvah of Milah, Sheval Tase, to be passive and not do the mitzvah of Milah, not do the mitzvah of Korban Pesach, in order to be mitam, to take care of the mitzvah, we will allow it. But to say that he should actively to violate an Isser for Kavod Abriyas, we will not say that. Rashi asks the kasha, what do you mean? But here is a Nazir. Aside from the Korban Pesach, aside from the Milah, but he is being matama himself, and he's a Nazir, and a Nazir is also to be matama, and here he's actively being matama himself. So why is this called Sheval Tasa? Rashi answers of that this is not called violating the Isser of a Nazir, because a Nazir, there are exceptions. In Tumah, we do find that there are exceptions. We find that when someone is not allowed to be matama himself, there are exceptions. So the Torah never asked the Nazir to be matama under these circumstances. It was never part of the Isser. By telling us that he's matama to the mes mitzvah, it's indicating that there was never an Isser of Tumah to begin with in this case. So it's not a question of violating the Isser for Kavod Abriyas. But for instance, the Isser of Kilayim is across the board. There are no exceptions in the Isser of Kilayim. All of Klal Yisrael is also Kilayim. So to say that for Kavod Abriyas you should be doicha Kilayim, you're saying that to be over an Isser of Kilayim. And over there we don't say that for Kavod Abriyas. Sivaiter Amrle Rapapala Baya. Why in the early generations were they Zoicha that had Nisim performed for them? And why in our generations are we not Zoicha for Nisim? If it's because of their learning and they were so great in learning, well, that can't be the reason, because Bishnei Rav Yehuda Kula Tanui ben Zikin Haba. In the earlier generations of Rav Yehuda, their entire learning was in, their proficiency was in the Zikin. Va'anan kamasina Shisha Sidra, and we learn all the Shisha Sidra Mishnah. And v'chihava matan Rav Yehuda v'uksin, when he came to the Maseches Uksin, which talks about the Tuma and Tahara, and he learned Aisha shekayveshes yerek b'kdeira, if she's preserving a vegetables in a pot. Or olives, some say, that were preserved with their leaves, tarim, they're tar. So the issue over there is that there is a stem on a vegetable or a fruit. The stem, if it's considered part of the fruit or the vegetable, it's maybe the tuma. So if somebody touches the stem, it's like he touches the fruit. And if someone is tomei and touches the stem, he's matama the fruit. Similarly with the leaf. But over there, if a woman is preserving it, then it's withered away. It's not really firmly attached. If you pick it up, the fruit will fall or the vegetable will fall off. If you pick up the leaf, the vegetable will fall off. So there it's not considered a yad. It's not considered a handle. The only reason that it's considered part and parcel of the vegetables is because it's considered a handle to it, a yad. But if it's preserved, it's already withered away. It's just there for appearance sake. So therefore, it's not considered part of it, so therefore it's tar. And when he learned that, Amar Avais, the Rav Shmuel Kalsi, he says, to me, this is as difficult as the deep and difficult memories of Rav and Shmuel. By none, and in our generations, in latter generations, we learn it in 13 different ways, so we're proficient in it. Now, so it can't be that they are bigger Talmidei Chachamim, because apparently our generation, we're bigger. Now, but there's no rain, he would daven and take up one shoe, and the rain would come. If we would be agitated, right away he would be responded, and in a Shemayim they would respond and bring the rain. And we are davening and we agitate ourselves and we pour out and etc. And we're not answered in a Shemayim. The answer to him, Kamoi, the earlier generations, they were moiser nefesh for Kedushas Hashem, and that's why their tefillos were answered. Anan loy masrin nafshin Kedushas Hashem, but we are not moiser nefesh for Kedushas. Kiha, an example is Kiha the Rav Arava, an example of the Mesiras Hashem for in the earlier generations. Rav Arava Chazel Lahav Kusis, he saw a Kusis. She was wearing a colored, red-colored garment, which was not considered sneas, and she was wearing it in public. It was not appropriate for a Bas Yisrael. Some of the Bas Yisrael here, he didn't know that she was a kusis. He thought she was a Bas Yisrael. He ripped it off. Then it turned out he then discovered that she was a kusis and not a Bas Yisrael. Shaimua ba'arba me'ah zuzah, and they appraised the damage, the loss, at 400 zuzah, a lot of money, enormous amount of money, and he had to pay that. Amrle Mashmei, what's your name? Amrle Mosun. She said her name is Mosun. Amrle Mosun also means 200. Mosun arba me'ah zuzah shava is 400 zuz. But he was moiser nefesh. He to be going to the pirza of this bega that was not, which was not considered tsanua, and he was moicha, and it cost him 400 zuz. So you see that they were moiser and nefesh al kiddush Hashem, and that's why they were zoicha that their tefillos were answered. Rav Gidel Havaragal Havako Azalvi also Veshard the Tefillah. He used to pass by the gateways, the doorways of the Tefillah, of the mikvois, when the women were taival. Amar lahu hachi tefillah v'hachi tefillah. He instructed the women, this is the way to be taival. Amar l'Rabbanan like Hamistaf Marmi Yetzer Hara. Are you not concerned on the worry by Yetzer Hara? You're instructing the women at the B'Shas Tefillah. Amar lahu Damyan ba'apoy ki kaki chivre. To me, he's beyond that. It's not, to him, it's not relevant. They're like white geese. Rav Yechon Havaragel Davakawazal also Visharat Tefillah. He also frequented the Sharet Tefillah. Amar ki salkim b'nais Yisrael v'asim Tefillah. When they come up from the base of Tefillah, V'stakal bi, they look at me, v'navel azora de shafir kevasoy, and they have children who are as handsome and beautiful as me. Rav Yechon was exceedingly beautiful, so they should look at him, and then when after the Tefillah, they'll be Isaac and Pirivivya, and they'll have children who are beautiful as him. Aren't you concerned and worried about Ayin Hara? I'm a descendant of Yosef. I come from the Shevet of Yosef. And Ayin Hara is not shaylet on the Shevet of Yosef. T'chsiv ben Peiris Yosef, ben Peiris ale Ayin. Amar Rabavo al Tigra ale Ayin. Ela oile ayin. It covers the eye. There's no ayin hara. They're protected from ayin hara. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chanina, another proof that they are protected from ayin hara. It says vayidgu l'roiv b'kerav haaretz. It says vayidgu, they'll multiply the roiv b'kerav haaretz, but it says the lotion of vayidgu, like dogim, fish. Ma dogim shabiyam my mechasim aleim, just like the dogim shabiyam, the water covers them, they're not seen. And therefore, what's not seen is protected from ayin hara. What's concealed is protected from ayin hara. What's revealed, ayin hara could be shown. What's concealed is not. But the fish, we don't see them. They're concealed by the water, so they're protected from ayin hara. Avzara shel Yosef. Ein ayin hara shayletus behem. So that's why it uses a lotion vayidgu to show that they're like dogim, that the ayin hara is not shaylet. Another pshat is ayin shalei ratzul lozen mimashen shaloi, that Yosef is protected from ayin hara because he was the eye that did not want to take from what wasn't his. He stayed. His pirish from Eshes Paitifa. Even though she was tried to be mizana with him, he was pirish. He was not shaloi ratzul lozen mimashen shaloi, so he refrained from what was not his. Ein ayin hara shaletus boy. He is protected from ayin hara. He is protected from. He has the special shimur from ayin hara because he's meshamer himself. He was meshamer himself, so he has a special shimur from ayin hara.